Deb's here, flexiblewarrior.com. I wanted to just welcome you and thank you for joining the 21-day reset. So we're going to go through a few things to help you prepare. One of my favorite quotes, and you know I have many favorite quotes, we're going to talk about more of those later, but fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I know that that sounds really brutal, but it is just the honest truth. I want you to take this time because we've got a little buffer before the start date to really mentally prepare, gather some things. The reason I'm holding this ball is because this is one of the things that I'm going to want you to either, if you're local, get one from me or to order one online. So a few things. We're going to go through 10 different things. And one of them, I'll just start with this as I have this in my hand, is that we're going to do yoga 3 times a week. A yoga cross train is the theme for this particular reset. And the reason for that is whether you're fit in the fit over 50 category like me, or maybe you're still in your 30s or in your 60s, any age over 40, you start to lose muscle mass and bone density and flexibility and balance and all the things. So the yoga cross training is really my favorite thing, my favorite workout, in order to gain the flexibility, the balance, the strength, the resilience, and you're gonna physically feel it in your body, especially if you do it with me 3 times a week for the whole duration of the challenge. But really, you know, it's important because we don't want to lose what we have, but we also can regain, you know. And so if you're over 40 and you want to maintain your muscle mass, your strength, your balance, and all of the things, then this is one of my favorite ways to do that. One of the things that we're going to be incorporating, very minimal equipment, is this yoga ball. So this is a bender ball, but there's different variations of this. I'm going to put the link in this video of a one that you can get if you want to order it on Amazon and get it at home. But again, if you're local, I have a whole bunch of these, so you're welcome to borrow one from me as well. The other thing that I need you to get is some handheld weights. Now these are 8-pound weights. This is what I'm going to be using. You can certainly go lighter, a 5-pound, a 3-pound, or you can go heavier. You know, 8 like I have, 10, 12, 15 if you're used to doing strength on a regular basis. Sometimes less is more. So just know that we're going to be incorporating the weights with some balance exercises and some yoga. Ooh, there's a big spider that just scoochied himself across the floor. Hello there, friend. Caught me off guard there for a second. So get yourself some weights and get yourself a ball. If you don't already, get yourself a yoga mat. And ideally, you're going to get some yoga blocks too. If you can get 2 blocks, that would be great because we are going to use them for push-ups and some other things. If you don't have them, it's okay. If you don't have any of this stuff, you can still get by, but this is going to enhance your workout. In addition to that, some bonus segments that we're going to do later on near the end of the challenge is some myofascial release with these myofascial release balls. And I'll put the link in the notes of this video so you can order them, and I'll put them in our Facebook group and in our emails as well. And a foam roller. Most of you have a foam roller. I always say the key is you have to use it. So foam rolling can help to reduce tension. These myofascial release balls as well. I love the combo of foam rolling and myofascial release work with stretching. So if you haven't done that with me before, I think you're going to really enjoy that. So, okay, it is a beautiful day outside. We're heading outside next, and we'll talk a little bit more, so stay with me. One thing, you have to have a journal, but I would recommend that you have it. Here's a quote from my studio that I want you to keep in mind. The most effective way to do it is to do it. So we can get all caught up in our heads. We want to make it perfect. It has to be, you know, all dialed in and, you know, like absolutely ready to go. No, that's not the reality. The reality is we're all busy. We all have a lot going on. And sometimes just stepping in and taking action is the most important thing. So you did the most important part. You showed up. Hello, guys. These are out here sunbathing themselves. The most important part is action and that mentality of progress, not perfectionism. So that was an Amelia Earhart quote, by the way. The most effective way to do it is to do it. And speaking of which, we're going to do 3 other quick quotes. that are among my favorites. So get yourself comfortable, grab yourself some water, and we're gonna chat a little bit about how you can prepare for this upcoming challenge. So 3 of my favorite quotes are, the first one is, worrying is praying for what you don't want. Those of you who follow me on Instagram have probably recently, I'm going to bring this down a little bit, it was up a little bit high. So worrying is praying for what you don't want. We want to put our energy into what we do want. And so when you focus your energy on what you don't want, if you believe in the law of attraction, which I do, you're attracting to you the exact thing that you don't want. So instead of that, we want to flip that on its head, and we want to focus on what we do want. We want to feel strong. We want to feel resilient. We want to feel peaceful and empowered. And, you know, whatever the words are, maybe you want to feel lighter. You want to feel more energized. I would encourage you to pick some words and really take your time. Grab your journal. If you don't have one, just get a notepad, whatever it is. It's very powerful when you write things down. So write down a list of 1, 2, 10 words of that are descriptive of how you want to feel, okay? That are the opposite of what you're maybe worried about, okay? So that's one quote that I really love. Another one, again, if you saw this on my Instagram, I just blanked for a second. So the quote is, if you listen to your body's whispers, you won't have to hear the screams. And for those of you who take my challenges regularly, you always hear me talk about really listen to your body. I know it's very cliche, but truly the only way that your body has to communicate with you is through sensation. If something feels good, if something tastes good, if something is an aversion to you, if it makes you feel bad, you can be aware of this with energy of other people as well. And just be really mindful of, you know, listening to the whispers and acknowledging, like for right now, for example, I started to get plantar fasciitis, if you've ever had that before. If I wear crappy flip-flops, which I did this summer because this big guy over here stepped on my flip-flop and broke the toe of it, and I ended up breaking my expensive, nice flip-flops that I love. By the way, little shout out to UFAs. I should do this. These are my good flip-flops. I just invested in a new pair. This is part of my self-care for the challenge as I prepare to heal my heel from plantar fasciitis. But I started to feel the whisper. I started to feel like, oh, I have a little sensation in my foot. Oh, I felt this before. What is that? That's plantar fasciitis. It's because of my crappy flip-flops. As soon as I got invested these new flip-flops, I've had these for like 3 days, my foot started to feel better. Now, I could have done a million other things, right? I did put essential oils in it. I did ice it. I did stretch it, of course. But, you know, if I hadn't listened to the body's whispers, it could have exasperated itself and gotten worse and worse. And then I'd end up at a podiatrist spending thousands of dollars and trying to, you know, repair some deep damage. A lot of people pop painkillers. A lot of people will do a lot of things to not listen to the body's whispers. But if you do listen to the whispers, you will not have to hear the screams, okay? And that really carries over to our yoga workouts. I need you to listen to your body. Whatever it is that I'm demonstrating and doing, great, follow along the best you can. But if it doesn't work for your body for whatever reason, your neck or your back or your shoulders or your hips or your knees, then you need to modify. You need to listen to your body, listen to the whispers, and really trust the intuition that your body is communicating to you. I had to learn that the hard way. If you've read my book, you know, having been diagnosed with Lyme and Hashimoto's, both in the same year, I had the warrior mindset of I'm just going to push through, and you know, I need to push harder to get through this. And that actually got me further behind. That actually made things a lot worse for me. And it wasn't until I really accepted the disease that was diagnosed and really embraced the healing process that I really started to get better. And so, you know, yes, there's a time to push through and to challenge yourself, but there's definitely a time to listen and to, you know, work on restoring your mind, body, and warrior spirit. And that's really what this whole 21-day challenge is all about. And then the last 2 little things are about, and I'm going to send you a second video on this, but the Musk deer and the golden Buddha. These are 2 of my favorite yoga stories. The Musk deer is really about trusting your intuition. listening. Again, if you did the chakra series with me that we did in the spring, you know, that's a great time to reset as we head into this new season and really be intentional with how the actions that you're taking. Okay, so trusting your intuition, remember the Musk deer, so I'll send you this on a separate video. So many of us will chase, you know, there's so many different diets and there's so many different workouts and there's so many different people's advice, and especially in this time of Instagram and just all the things. It's really challenging to block out all of that distraction and trust that everything that you need to know is really right here. So check in with that, set your intentions on how you want to feel. And then the other one is the Golden Buddha. And I love this one too, because it's really a great symbol for how, you know, at this age, for a lot of us, 40, 50, 60, there's a lot of life stress that kind of gets caked on us. And it's hard to remember who we were when we were, you know, young, vivacious, creative beings at, you know, 8, 10, 12 years old. And so as life stress affects us and all of that, it cakes on this layer of stress, and it's hard to remember our true light within us. And that's really what the Golden Buddha is about. So just take the time, and I'm going to send that video separately, to listen to the Musk deer and the Golden Buddha, and take the time to really reflect on that and set your intentions as we head into this challenge. All right, and let me say that too, you know, I use the word challenge quite a bit, which is a great word, because it's not without challenging ourselves that we reveal our new strengths and a new opportunity to grow and be stronger. But also just think of it as a reset. So think of it as, instead of pushing, instead of really feeling like you have to do hard things, think of this more of an opportunity to really practice your self-care. Okay, the first thing I want to mention is hydration. I invested in this fabulous water bottle that holds about 70 ounces of water a day, but you don't have to do this. I would encourage you to either use glass, stainless steel, or a non-toxic plastic like this is. This is sort of has motivating sayings on it, and I try to get 70 ounces in a day. Most of the times I get halfway through. Hydration is not a strength of mine, but I would encourage you through these 21 days to try to get half your body weight in ounces per day of water. Try to get it early in the day, before 6 or 7 p.m. so that you're not getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Okay, on that note, a little sip of water is always good. Okay, so that's number one. Overall, the theme is less sugar and less stress. Those are both very inflammatory. More superfoods and self-care. So the less the sugar, the less the stress, the less inflammatory foods like gluten, like alcohol. If that's going to be something that you're going to choose to do that mindfully. Like, I'm going to take a break from alcohol for 3 days, 5 days, 12 days, 21 days. It's really individual, okay? Remember that bio-individuality means what works for you isn't necessarily what's going to work for me. We're all unique. I am encouraging you overall to get your water in, to get your vegetables in, less inflammatory foods, including gluten, dairy, alcohol, sugar, and really anything processed. So, but for you, you might say, you know, I've tested gluten before, it's not an issue for me. Or I've tested dairy before, not an issue. Or I do okay with kefir and you know, certain kinds of dairy, but I don't do good with cheese. It's really up to you. And if you need help and you want something one-on-one, I'm happy to support you. It is a journey. It took me several years to kind of really figure out what works for me. But overall, less sugar, stress, and inflammatory foods, okay? Which all of those will increase your chances of chronic disease and aches and pains. Okay, when you reduce those, you're going to reduce your chances of any chronic disease, and you're going to reduce your chances of aches and pains. You're going to recover faster, and you're probably going to feel lighter and amazingly more free in your body, okay? Pretty quickly, in 21 days for sure, okay? So you're going to have recipes, but know that you are not limited to those recipes. So you can go on Pinterest and find some other superfood recipes. We're going to be focusing on, you know, if you can do a smoothie a day, that would be amazing.
because that's going to be very nourishing for you and hydrating. If you can do superfood salads, okay, and really clean dressings that you can make yourself, lemon, olive oil, Himalayan salt, super simple stuff. And then really good nourishing soups too. So I'm going to give you some recipes. Know that you are not limited to those recipes. Those are just to get you started. I would encourage you to, maybe do a superfood oatmeal, do your overnight oats at night, make them at night so that you're ready to go in the morning. And make it a ritual that you have your morning, lemon water and your superfood oats maybe. And then in the evening, you can do like a calming tea and some restorative journaling or something like that. Okay? So the next thing I want to mention to you is our kind of overall schedule. So you're going to be doing the yoga cross training 3 days a week, as I mentioned. Okay, some of them will be live, but they'll all be recorded, so you can do them at your own time. And they're all about 30 minutes. Some will be a little bit longer, some of them will be a little bit shorter. But the idea is that you're going to have really time efficient, effective workouts that you can get done in a short amount of time. You're going to feel stronger and more flexible both, but I would encourage you to get 3 days of cardio into about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, 3 days a week of your cardio. And that way you're getting your strength, your flexibility, and your cardio. And get out in nature. I'm sitting outside here because nature is very calming and grounding too. So make sure that you take the time to practice your self-care and figure out what really makes you feel good, because it's different for all of us. We will be having the option to add on a juice boost, I like to call it. So juices can be super hydrating and super nourishing, really great for gut health. And we are going to talk a little bit more about gut health throughout the program as well. So you have the option to add on juices if you want to. You can do a 6-pack. You can do 2 or 3 6-packs. Like I'm going to do a 6-pack 3 consecutive weekends in a row. And that's going to be my investment in my own self-care. That's what I'm going to do. But you can do something totally different. You can do a 3-day juice cleanse if you want to, if that works for you. What I like to do is combine juices with superfoods and just add them in, and you guys, it just feels amazing. So 2 options on that, and I do encourage you that you get organic juice. So make sure if you're not local that you seek it out, that it's organic juice. You do not want more toxins in your body. We're trying to reduce the toxins, right? The toxic overload. So More Life Organic Juice is local here in the Maryland area, Baltimore, Maryland area. And then if you're not local, you can do Juice Fresh Juice. And both of them offer a discount if you use the code Flexible Warrior. Juice Fresh Juice ships all across the United States. More Life Juice, again, is local, and you can pick it up at the Hereford Farmers Market, or they can deliver to your house for an extra fee. Okay, use Flexible Warrior as the code, and you'll get either 10% off or a superfood smoothie or a shot. Sometimes they give a free shot if you use that code. A shot of like turmeric, that is. Turmeric ginger. So the juice boost is an option. If you are going to do it, I would encourage you to do it on the 2nd or the 3rd week, because the 1st week is when you really want to clean out the sugar and the inflammatory foods, and then you add in the juices the 2nd or the 3rd week. Okay? So again, remember the recipes that I'm going to give to you in that document. You're not limited to that. So you can certainly share it on the Facebook page if you find something really great. But use those as an inspiration to get you started. Make a few of those. Make sure on Sundays you use Sundays as a prep day. So Sundays, I'm going to chop my vegetables. I'm going to make my soup. I'm going to maybe make sure I get to the grocery store and get all the supplies I need for my smoothies. Like Sunday's your prep day. Make sure that you take an hour or 2 on your Sundays to really prep yourself so that as the Monday morning rolls along, you're ready to go. Okay? Know that we are going to have special guest speakers. This is so fun. We have people that are going to be talking, other wellness warrior mamas, discussing things like, non-toxic living, skincare. I know that's an interest for a lot of you. I'm happy to share what I'm doing with my skin. I really have set the intention. This is a personal thing. I destroyed my skin in my early years with a lot of sun damage, and so I've really, now in my 50s, really have tried to do a little bit better with my skincare. So we can talk about non-toxic skincare. We will talk about yoga off the mat and home organization and getting that clarity as you let go of the old and make space in your life for new stuff. And we also have a guest speaker that's going to be talking about essential oils. And she's a registered nurse and has incorporated essential oils into a lot of her clients. She works with a lot of clients. So I think she'll be a wealth of knowledge for us as well. So you can look for those Zoom calls and those events. They'll typically be on a Tuesday or Thursday evening. But again, if you miss it live, we will record it. With the yoga off the mat, this is huge, you guys. This is week 4, okay? After we're done the challenge is the yoga off the mat week. And I'm really going to encourage you guys to do a digital detox, which means no social media for a day or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever works for you. Maybe no news for those days. Like, no, imagine how you would feel if you had no social media and no negative news for 3 or 5 days. So just for a minimal time, but you know, if you do that, it gives you that opportunity to do some positive things. Like, I'm going to use that hour that maybe I'd be scrolling social media or watching the news to do something that, you know, like listen to a podcast that's really uplifting, or to journal, or to meditate, or to take a walk in nature or something like that. So the yoga off the mat week, again, that's going to be week 4. And that's also a time to detox your house, to look at maybe it's a closet or a drawer or your whole garage or your whole basement, and use that as an opportunity to detox and declutter and let go of some old stuff. So not only are we doing, you know, that in our kitchen and physically working on it with our health, but we're also going to take it into our home. And I know I've been doing this for probably, 8-10 years. And it makes me feel so good when I declutter the house. So I'm really going to invite you guys to take your yoga off the mat and into your house. We're going to have an organizational expert talk to us a little bit about like some tips on how to do that. Remember, journal. I'm looking at my notes here. Journal. So if you don't already have a journal, grab yourself a journal or just get a notepad. A lot of times I use a journal that I've had for a while, and I'll just find some blank pages. And it's amazing to reflect back and look at old stuff, and then it helps you reset and really move into the coming week. So write it down. There's something magical that happens. You get to reflect and reset, and when you write it down, it's more likely to actually come to fruition. So please journal and reflect and write. Next thing is invite a friend. Yeah, so I mean, it's really fun if you want to invite an accountability partner. You know, this is literally the last day to join, but if you feel inspired to invite someone that you know, it's really important that you know is going to support you and not make you feel like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, if there's someone, a friend or a family member that's really supportive of you working on you, then invite them to this community. But if there's someone negative and someone that you know in your gut or your heart that's not a good fit, then don't bother to invite them. But if you really feel like it's going to be someone that'll be fun and supportive to help you with your workouts and show an accountability, invite them. And then that way you're more likely to hold yourself accountable and to make this whole thing happen. Okay? We have, of course, our Facebook group, and it's a wonderful little community there too. So, you know, just be really mindful of, you know, the one quote about knowing when to push harder and when to let go, and that carries over into relationships sometimes too. So knowing sometimes that at different times in different phases of our life, I've had to do it. I've had to let go of certain friendships or certain relationships or certain jobs or, you know, clients that I've had, or bad habits or whatever it is. You know, sometimes, and even fitness, like there was a time when I was a runner and I was running, and I realized one day, I was like, this is not serving me anymore. I gotta stop running. It's hard to know when to push harder sometimes and to when to let go, but relationships are just one of those examples. And sometimes letting go gives you space and freedom in your life to be more aligned with who you actually are at this phase of your life. You know, again, I'm in my 50s now, different now when I was in my 30s. And it'll probably be different again in 60s and 70s. So it's just good to reevaluate that. Book your self-care is next. So this is really important. I want you to have something to look forward to that's going to motivate you when the times start to get a little tough, when you feel like you're going to hit an obstacle at some point. There's just next to impossible that you're not going to hit some sort of obstacle during that 21 days. So during that time, it's really important to just have something to look forward to and to motivate you to stay true to your intentions. And Bruno's drinking his water to remind you to have your little sip of water, okay? Have your sip of water and remember to stay hydrated. So yeah, book your self-care, whether it's, maybe you're due for a haircut. I know I am. You're due for a dentist appointment. That seems to come up for me quite a bit. The last reset that we did, there were several people that booked their colonoscopies. I was super proud of you guys because we were all overdue because of the pandemic. So we were 3 years overdue for a colonoscopy in our 50s. We're supposed to get it done at 50. It happened at 53. Oh well. So, but it happened, right? And so we have to set that intention. So whether it's something like a medical thing, like you're overdue with a mammogram or colonoscopy or a dental appointment or something like that, but it's been on your mind, or it's something a little more fun, like a pedicure, a facial, or something like that. I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything myself personally. So a little hair appointment, maybe a facial, hopefully a pedicure with a friend would be super awesome. But book your self-care, okay? Write that note, give yourself a little sticky note right now, write it down in your journal, book your self-care. Book it out in advance, which is done for you, and it's on your schedule. Okay, really, really important, and that's kind of what sets this challenge apart maybe from some others. Again, get your equipment, get your weights, get your mat, get your blocks, and get your ball. Okay, and then in addition to that, you're going to have a list of superfoods. Now, these are not mandatory. These are sort of boosters, what I call boosters. Maybe a green powder. I love a green powder. Maybe some collagen. Maybe some plant-based protein, to make your smoothies with. I can share with you some of my favorites. I actually will we'll go into the kitchen, another video. I don't want this to get too long. And I'll share with you some of my favorites. I love Thrive Market. I'll share that in the comments as well. Thrive Market is one of my favorite ways to stock my pantry with good, healthy stuff. This stuff is all flexible warrior approved stuff. I will give you an Amazon list as well, which has some of my other favorite superfoods on it. But just know this, the best superfoods are the ones that are your organic local veggies. So hit your farmers markets. Most of them are open through October. And go to your local farmers and get your organic, preferably organic, locally grown, clean, healthy fruits and vegetables. And then all the other superfood boosters are optional and additional, and they really can boost, so much of your smoothies and your daily habits, with your matcha, for example, and your green. They're not mandatory. They are boosters. Okay, as we finish up and we're wrapping up here, remember again, your bio-individuality. We are each unique. So yes, we're going to be practicing our yoga and our strength training, and we're going to be doing cardio, and we're going to be getting our hydration and our more vegetables and all of that. But each of us are so unique, you guys. So flexibility truly, right, is power. So, I'm proud of you for showing up. But right here, stay positive and stay flexible and put positive energy into this and just be resilient. It does not have to be perfect. It needs to just serve you on some level. And it's just baby steps sometimes, baby steps. At the end of the day, I want you to think about prana. And prana is your life force energy, right? So whether it's something you eating, or a thought that you're thinking, or a relationship that you're nurturing, or one that you're letting go of, or some self-care practice that you're doing, fuel your prana. Fuel your prana. So what does that mean? It means do things that recharge your warrior spirit. Take actions. Learn to say no to things that are no longer serving you, whether it's a food or a relationship or whatever it is, in order to say yes to the things that fuel your prana. Prana is your life force energy. It is in every living thing, from a plant to an animal to us to a bug to anything that's living. It all has prana, and we all need sun. That is nourishing. The plants need sun. Without sun, they don't grow. Without water, they don't grow. If you pour diet soda on a plant, what would happen? So just be mindful of nourishing and strengthening your warrior spirit by fueling your prana. Okay, so So that's just a basic intention and a basic principle. I will say that I'm going to give you a handout here too. I'll show this with you really quickly. It is the Flexible Warrior Basic Principle. So you're all going to get this, and it has this Fuel Your Prana intention with it as well. So just if you remember that more than anything, does this water fuel my prana? The answer is yes. If it was diet soda, would it fuel your prana? The answer would be no. And in fact, not only does it not fuel your prana, it depletes it because it's toxic. So it's super, super simple. You have a choice at every single moment of the day to either do something that nourishes you and strengthens you and makes you feel alive and energized and uplifted, or you have a choice to be negative and to choose foods or activities or relationships that deplete you. Okay, it's really one or the other. There's very few things that are neutral. They're usually either nourishing or they're depleting. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Remember, yoga is unity, so we are together in this. Yoga means to yoke or to unite. And so even though this is an online challenge and we're not physically together, some of us will be physically together, hopefully at some point. We can do something together, juice toast or, a walk or something. But we're remote, most of us, but we are united. We're on this together, and we are part of a powerful ripple effect. Each and every one of us, as we get stronger and we nourish ourselves, we can shine our light in the world and be part of a healing action that needs to happen throughout the world. So thank you for being here. Namaste means the light within me honors and acknowledges that same light that is within you. I appreciate your positive energy. I'm proud of you for investing in your health and your wellness, knowing that it is the most valuable asset that you have. So namaste. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Post in the comments or on our Facebook group or email me back if you have any questions. See you in the challenge. Bye.